You and I will go to heaven because we choose to live our lives together with God.
Sure about me, bro? Comments are going crazy right now.
3 days after he dies, he physically, bodily rises from the dead, and over a period of 40 days, he appears to over 500 people.
How do you know that? Are you attracted to men?
No.
Why not?
Because that's the way I'm hardwired.
What if someone is hardwired the exact opposite way? By their God. And then not accepted by their God because God's book says we don't accept you.
He's a human being created in the image of God. He has just as much value as I do, but he's messed up.
But comparing yourself to him is like comparing apples to a
I understand you're an expectant father. Little baby coming into the world?
Little baby
Your
girl.
mom was bragging to me about it.
Yeah. Little baby girl.
Sounds good. Let's say somebody that little baby.
God damn it, Cliff.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are meeting me for the first time, my name is Cliffe and it is so nice to meet you. You guys, Cliffe or impulsive? In the same sentence, y'all. Who would have thought this day would come? I cannot wait to check this out. They really did say a lot, and let's check it out.
I want to touch on the soul thing really quick because this has always intrigued me. Okay, so the soul is the person that can be shaped by human experience. So like if you were to like run a simulation of like Cliff, 100 simulations of the life of Cliff in some future distant world, do you become a pastor in all 100 of those simulations? Is every one of those simulations, is Cliff a good guy? Especially if the human experience that each Cliff experience or goes through is different. And then does your soul become a different thing?
I don't think so, because that smacks of determinism. It's in the stars. It's written in the stars. You have to do this. You have to go down this path. No. When I fall down a set of stairs, I don't pick myself up at the bottom and say, phew, glad that's over. No, I pick myself up at the bottom and say, idiot, pick up your feet. Don't stumble down the stairs. It's really painful. In other words, it's not been predetermined. That's this whole issue of free will. That's why I hold you responsible and you hold me responsible for what I do, for what I say. Because you know I don't have to do it.
It's not a script.
Exactly. It's not a script. This whole idea that God writes on a piece of paper, what you and I are going to do tomorrow, locks it in a bank vault, and then you and I have to do what's written on the paper. That's determinism. That's fatalism. No. No, we're human beings created in the image of God, which means God partially limits his power by giving us a free will, and then we choose what we do. But God does hold us responsible. And that's why I love what you pointed out about the importance of responsibility. But you know, Logan, you and Jesus are, I think, a little closer than you might realize when you talk about justice.
That's going to get clipped up, man.
Okay?
That was
justice.
That's going everywhere.
The reason is, why did Christ die on a cross? He didn't die on a cross because God is lovey-dovey. He died on a cross because God is just. And because God is just, the penalty for evil is death and hell. And Christ went to the cross, paid that penalty. Why? Because God's lovey-dovey? No, because God is just. The penalty for human evil must be paid. Oh, that's not cool. That's not cool. Oh, that's very cool. I understand you're an expectant father. Little baby coming into the world?
Little baby girl.
Your mom was bragging to me about it.
Yeah. Little baby girl.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, Logan. Now let's talk theoretically.
Okay.
Let's say somebody murders that little baby.
God damn it, Cliff.
Didn't even get a chance to do anything. Didn't even make one video.
Good response, Logan.
Horrific. I wasn't expecting this. Cliff,
All right.
come on, dude.
Good response.
Yo, that's the hook.
Sorry, Grandma.
Yo, sorry, Ma.
Ex-grandma.
She didn't make it.
Damn, dude.
Okay, I love your response. Why? Because you know very well that if the police or the judge lets that dude off scot-free, your baby does not matter. Now, what's fascinating is the way so many secular people will say, well, God's just love, so there's going to be no judgment. Really?
True.
So God doesn't judge the guy who murders my child? That's a clear statement on God's part. Your child, Cliff, does not matter to me. Therefore, I will not judge the guy who murdered your kid. Well, let's get one thing straight. God doesn't care about your kid. Your kid does not matter to God. And that's a lie. Jesus said, no, God does care about every single one of us, which is why when we hurt each other, when we rape each other, when we cut each other off at the knees, God will judge us for that because he loves us because we matter to him. Does that make any sense?
It totally makes sense. I guess what I am looking for and what I have always struggled with is like the proof per se. Why Christianity? There's so many denominations out there. And to be able to like put your foot down on one, especially when they all have such positive teachings for the most part, it's just so hard for me. I just don't know if I'm willing to make that assertion just yet.
First of all, you're right. I can't prove God. But Logan, I think you've got God bearing down hard on you through your mom. I think it's real clear that your mom loves you.
Is that true, Ma? She's holding the cross. Can you at least get a thumbs up or something?
She just holds up
the cross.
She's like,
All right.
can't discuss the love of Logan.
But here's a cross.
I do love Jesus.
I don't think that your mom's love for you is simply a chemical reaction. I think your mom has made a decision over your entire life to care for you, to provide for you, to protect you, to sacrifice for you. That is far beyond an animal instinct. That is a free decision your precious mother has made to really love you, to really care for you. Love, the experience of love, points us to reality, including some type of God. Okay, then the next question is, yeah, but who is this God? And that's where Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Confucius, Buddhists, all the avatars of Hinduism come in, all claiming to be revealing God accurately. But the historical evidence is Jesus lived a sinless life. He never sinned once. In John chapter 8, he could look into the faces of his enemies and say, which one of you can prove me guilty of sin? And his enemies were silent. Secondly, he taught amazing ethical teachings that I think all of us respect highly. The Sermon on the Mount is obviously ethical genius. All right, profound ethical genius. The Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7. So his lifestyle, his ethical teachings demand respect. Thirdly, you watch him die. At the moment of his most excruciating pain and agony, nailed to a wooden crossbeam, instead of cursing his enemies the way I would have, he prays, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Well, my respect for him skyrockets. But fourthly, and most importantly, 3 days after he dies, he physically, bodily rises from the dead, and over a period of 40 days, he appears to over 500 people who see him, different times, different places, risen from the dead. Paul records in 1 Corinthians 15.
I have a question. How do you know that?
You know that in the same way that you know that George Washington was the first president of the United States, that you know that Adolf Hitler really committed the atrocities he did. It's called historical knowledge.
But those recent events those events you just cited happened much more recently.
Yes.
And are much more well documented
Yes.
than
History.
potentially 2,000 years of lost history.
Bingo, correct. But the great news is, in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, we have a very, very reliable historical record based on over 5,800 Greek manuscripts, 10,000 manuscripts in the Latin Vulgate, and about 9,800 in Ethiopic, Coptic, Armenian, Syriac, Gothic, and Slavic.
Honestly, that is true. Let me just pause here to say that we have a lot. I know that there's been, issues these days with people saying some scriptures are missing. The more they're getting revised this, revised that, or in different versions, you're not seeing some verses or, some particular words, and people are starting to doubt, the Bible and all of those things. But you guys, Cliff on impulsive, I am of the opinion, little by little, the gospel will be spread. Honestly, we've all been here, just hearing Logan ask all of these questions. We've all been here, having this conversations helps everyone to answer the doubts you might have. And so you might be looking at him and like, why are you asking such questions? Don't you already know the answer? We've all been here. I don't know about you. But if you got to a place where you started to learn about Jesus, you started to learn about Christianity, you would have in fact, we have questions that you will write down saying the next time you go to church on Sunday, you're going to ask your Sunday school teacher. Do you understand? So we've literally all been here, and I love what is happening. I feel like, okay, I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about how the Bible is being translated to different languages, and she was saying it was translated from English, but I told her it was an argument, and I was like, no, I don't think it is. I think every language is translated from the original manuscript and not just the English. I think it was translated from the original manuscript. What do you think? What do you believe? Let's get right.
I'll be honest here. I don't love the sort of like exclusive club feeling. Oh, you can get into heaven if you believe in Jesus, but everyone else is doomed. I don't love that, right? Because there are people who have the same amount of faith in their religion as you guys do in yours, who are putting their time, effort, energy, investing their whole lives into believing in a deity. And like, according to you guys, you know, they won't end up in a place that is paradise, even though they're leading a great life and have a great moral compass. Even just like, you know, the whole like gay marriage thing, like, I like, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But according to Christianity, like gay marriage isn't allowed to be a thing. And I know there's a lot of circumstances of like a gay child being resented and even alienated from their family because they have super religious parents. And I hear those stories and like I hurt for those people because a decision is being made based on a set of beliefs that people are so bound to, but then they throw the love aside for someone in their family. Yep. And that kind of bothers me.
Sure.
Okay, before Cliff answers, I just want to ask something. I wanted to write it in the comment section, but then again, not everyone might, go there. So let me ask it in this video. Is there any religion? Because I'm believing it's not only Christians that will watch this video. So is there any religion that supports gay marriage? Because there is a religion that I know is prominent and people bash is Christianity. Like they bash it a lot. Oh, is there any religion at all that supports gay marriage?
But remember, Logan, the legitimacy of faith is not determined by passion. If you're passionate about thin ice on a lake, I really believe this thin ice is going to hold me up. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You walk out on that thin ice, you're going through, sir.
Yeah.
So the legitimacy of faith is determined by the trustworthiness of the object of your faith. If it's thick ice and you believe just a little and you step out on that ice, it's going to hold you up. And you know that. If you trust a criminal, he's going to rip you off. If you trust a reliable person, that's good. Now, here's where it really gets tricky. Let's be a skeptic, right? Let's doubt. Okay, let's start right in here in this room. I doubt you and I doubt you.
I doubt me too.
All right.
I think I doubt him.
Now, there's nothing wrong with doubting.
I doubt myself enough for all of us.
Exactly. Okay. But I can push that too far. I can get to the point where I say, in spite of the evidence that you two guys are reliable, I'm not going to trust you. I'm going to be a hyper skeptic. Skepticism is good, but when it turns into hyper skepticism, watch out. Why is it so dangerous?
Yeah, why?
Because I'll never have the privilege of being your friend. If I'm always skeptical about you, if I'm always doubting you, I will miss my friendship with both you and him.
That's an extreme. You know, you like hyper skepticism.
Right.
Sure,
I don't think I don't know if it's as extreme as you think. This is the person I was describing before. I'm so smart because I question everything. The issue with these people is you provide absolute proof that their questioning is leading them down the wrong path, and they're still unwilling to accept that as a proof point.
Hyper skepticism, sure, but like
becoming more prevalent.
Just to question and doubt and not accept everything you see at face value as truth. I don't think
Jesus said you better do that.
Oh, he did?
He said, beware of false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing. Inwardly, they are ferocious wolves, and they will eat your life.
How can I subscribe to a faith when there are such obvious contradictions within the codex itself that make it really hard for me to say that makes sense?
Because if you live a life based purely on logic, to Cliff's point earlier, how could you believe in friendship, love, any of these things that have no natural explanation? There's no logical explanation as to why you feel love.
Okay, then why does an animal feel love? Why when a mother...
I don't know. You tell me. What's the logical explanation for the feeling of love?
Wait, so next time you see your wife, are you just going to say, hey, this is my oxytocin going off right now? We really don't have it.
That is what he would... No, that is what he would.
I love her. I love her.
But what is love then? If it's, from an atheist, if there's no God...
Yeah.
Then it's just the oxytocin neurochemicals, cuddle chemicals.
At this point in humanity, I am unable to give you a scientific explanation. Question. If in 50 years, the brain can be mapped out and you can say exactly why you feel what you feel, does the belief or the faith in Jesus go down? Because I think what's happening right now is people are getting turned on to the possible idea of more explanations for stuff and thus aren't turning to faith as frequently, I think.
All right, but I think you've raised an issue consistently now, Logan, that I'd like to address, which is science and faith in God, science and ethics, science and morality. All right, science can prove that if I put strychnine in grandma's tea, she will die. Science could never answer the question, in light of the fact that grandma's loaded, big stock portfolio, why should I not put strychnine in her tea, kill her in order to get the inheritance? Science can't answer that. That's an ethical question. Science is concerned with the process, the physical process. And that's wonderful. It's beautiful. But it cannot address the question, should I put strychnine in grandma's tea to get the inheritance?
Yep.
That's an ethical,
Yep.
moral question, has nothing to do with science.
Yep.
See, so that's why you've got to realize there is truth scientifically, very important,
Yep.
but there's also truth ethically, and there's also truth regarding God. And your good buddy has just talked about his experience, which is not a scientific thing, but it's his personal experience that took him out of drug addiction,
Yep.
right? So, but it's a different type of knowledge.
Totally makes sense.
Makes
I think
sense?
that we both
Because
say
I can't explain why I feel certain things in the way I feel.
Good.
And if I were to seek explanation like I do with some things that maybe can be described with science,
Yep.
perhaps faith is a good answer to that.
Oh, that's a very, very, very interesting point. I beg to differ there, all right? I don't know why I feel that science is not an alternative to God. People tend to put science like this and put God like this. I'm like, I don't think it is. I feel like science is a method in an attempt to explain how God works. Trying to explain, trying to prove. Do you understand? Like, I don't feel like it's an alternative. What do you guys think? I don't feel like it is an alternative. Because, like you rightly said, he said if they were able to, if science is able to prove some of these things, do you feel like people's faith in God will now go down? Because the other time, people are like, okay, how can they say in the creation that you mean God gave his breath and that was it? And, and a human being happened and started working and doing that. And I'm like, okay, with the way the world now is getting more advanced, the way science is now getting advanced, I am here to see a human being created. Do you understand? With the way they're like, okay, fine. Last I checked, it's robots and robots and robots we are getting. I'm here to see a human being created. Okay. Well, you guys, honestly, I just want to say thank you, Logan, for for being willing to have these conversations. Believer or not, we need more people who are willing to sit at the table and be open to having these sort of conversations. Who is with me that a seed has been planted today? All right, and I hope it waters. I hope this waters some of those seeds. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I love when we talk about Jesus. I love when we talk about Christianity. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful feeling. I just love this. I love it so much. I need a part two. Well, you guys, I'd see you in the comment section. Bye.